Good morning.
Morning.
We've been doing these Rotary minutes for quite a few years now and start to run out of fresh ideas to do. I'm not gonna do a minute. No, actually, it is a minute, but I'm gonna talk about the club history a little bit. I thought that'd be something a little different to do. And of course, maybe some of you know anyway, one of the lead individuals behind the formation of this club was Bill Skiff. And he was a former school counselor and coach and of course many other things. And any of the longer term members of this club that if they catch something on saying, well, please let me know. I'm looking at you, Charlie. And of course, when he wanted to form this club, he had contacted a number of people in the community to see if there was enough interest, and he determined there was enough interest. And pursuant to that, then an application for membership was submitted to the Rotary International, and the date I saw was August 24th, 1995. So that was almost 30 years ago. And according to that, it was 6 charter members, and I believe the membership, public membership into the Rotary International was approved in September of that same year. The territorial limits as defined in the Constitution was included Williston, Richmond, and St. George. And I always understood that the club's name was Williston-Richmond Rotary Club, and that was intended to make it easier for Richmond if they wanted to break off and form their own club. But all the paperwork I saw said Williston Rotary Club.
That's to make it so that we don't have to change the charter.
Right.
If we establish a club in Richmond.
It probably says that was intended to make it so we don't have to change the charter if Richmond. So I don't quite understand the Richmond, we'll call it Williston Richmond then, but anyway, it's fine. Not a big deal. The first officer, the first president of the club was, of course, Bill Skiff. Abbott Brayton was the president-elect, and Derek Kirby was elected as vice president. Secretary was someone named Deborah Buxton. She was from Richmond. The treasurer was Brian Kent, and the remaining directors were Mark Bellabo and Michelle Fisher. And when I joined the club, Bill Skiff was a member, Abbott Brayton and Derek Kirby. The others had already dropped out, I guess. The original members included someone named Mike Coates, and he was my membership sponsor. There was someone named J.J. Hamilton, who was director of aviation for the Burlington Airport. There was also Kevin Dorn, who was a member of the Home Builders Association. And he eventually went on to become city manager for the city of South Burlington. And of course, there was our own David Erickson, who was one of the charter members of the club, and he is still a member.
He's there.
Okay, he's with us today. So some of our currently longest serving members include David Erickson, who, as I said, was a charter member and joined in 1995. Sonia Stevens joined in 1996. Phil Stevens and Charlie McGill both joined in 1997. And yours truly joined in 1998. And those are some of the longest term members. Today our club, of course, is going strong, and I think we have now over 40 members, so.
Thanks, Rick. As a newer member, it's always interesting to learn a bit about the history because that's what built this. So thanks for being here for so long. Leslie, would you like to introduce our speaker?
I would love to.
All right, wonderful.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
It is truly my pleasure to introduce Erica Marks as our speaker today. She is the Director of Volunteer Services at AgeWell, a Vermont area agency on aging. She holds a master's degree in psychology and has over 30 years of training and development experience, including psychosocial support. AgeWell's volunteer team recruits, trains, and supports over 1,100 volunteers, some of whom are in this club. Supporting volunteers when they are in the field is critical to our mission. Volunteers are matched with older adults in the community with the goal of developing meaningful relationships and providing valuable services. And I can attest to the support. Thank you very much. So Erica Marks, welcome to our club.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm not used to standing behind a podium or doing the mic thing, so you're gonna have to put up with me. The most important thing that I want you to know about me is that I'm a Rotarian. I've been a Rotarian for 19 years, and I was also a district trainer for half a dozen years as well. Before I took on the directorship at Agewell, because that was a huge job. So they hired me 10 years ago. They had 100 volunteers when they hired me, and we now have 1,076. I know she said 1,100, but our peak was 1,200 during COVID because we had many people who were out of work and who raised their hand and said, I want to do something since I can't work. Please put me to work volunteering for you. Why am I here today? Well, I'm here today mostly because I want to make sure that all of you know the supports that are available to each and every one of you through Agewell. So we're going to do a little pop quiz. Well, first of all, if you are a volunteer with Agewell, please stand up. Charlie, tell them a little bit about what you do.
I'm a Meals on Wheels driver. I drive 30 miles every other week, delivering meals to anywhere from 7 to 12 people. And I get to meet some really interesting people and have fun driving.
Thank you for that. Leslie, please tell them what you do.
So I actually have the best Meals on Wheels route.
So you go.
Yeah.
I do. I don't drive as far, but I meet some amazing people, have some amazing conversations, deliver a few meals, and feel very blessed about that. In addition to that, I also do respite care for a couple of families, and in one family, they wanted someone with a dog, so I borrowed one. And they really wanted a golden retriever, so I borrowed a golden retriever from my son. And the pictures of this family with this golden retriever nearly make me cry.
Yeah.
It is just so touching, the love shared between this animal and this human. And the family is very involved in that as well. And then the other family that I visit is an individual person. And so we get to go for walks on the causeway. We get to go explore the bog in Colchester and just have really meaningful time together. So it's lovely.
Thank you for that. Here's what I'm gonna tell you about our volunteer program. First of all, I believe our volunteer program is the largest volunteer program in the state of Vermont. And then the second thing is, we are professional matchmakers, and I want to explain what that means. That means that when someone raises their hand and says, I might be interested in volunteering for you, what are the things that I might be able to do as a volunteer? That we have a long list of things that you can do as a volunteer, but it is our job to get to know each of you well enough to know what the things are that you enjoy doing, so that we can match you to a volunteer opportunity that you get to look forward to, that you enjoy, that is fun and rewarding. That is the core of our volunteer program, and that is why we have almost 1,100 volunteers now. It's because people like Leslie and Charlie who volunteer, who are enjoying what they're doing, tell friends and families and other people that they know, oh my God, you should come volunteer with Agewell. Our volunteers, word of mouth is our number one way that we recruit volunteers. There is an army of volunteers who like what they do, who feel supported, and they then tell other people what a great time they have volunteering. So that's where we get most of our volunteers from. Now, all of you are volunteers because you're volunteer members of the Rotary Club, right? And so you are all about volunteering. You understand the heart and soul of volunteering in order to make your community a better place and make the world a better place, or you wouldn't be a Rotarian. So you will see that what I have done is I've put "you can help your neighbor" flyers on your table. And this is my ask of you today. I'm not asking you to step up and volunteer because I know you're already volunteering. And not only are you a Rotarian, which automatically means you're a volunteer, not only do a couple of you volunteer for AgeWell, but many of you volunteer in other capacities, either with another organization or just because you can't help yourself. My neighbor down the street needs this or that, right? So I'm not asking you to take on one more thing, but I am asking you to help me get the word out because we've had some interesting developments. The first is that for the first time ever, we are now delivering to more than 1,000 Meals on Wheels clients. We have never crossed the 1,000 mark until 2 weeks ago. So the need for people who need Meals on Wheels is growing. And unless we bring on more Meals on Wheels volunteers, that means that the current volunteers, their routes are getting longer. There's more people on their routes. It takes longer. And at some point, it really does become burdensome when the number of meals kind of gets into the 20s. And on some of my routes, it's close to 40 clients that are being delivered to in the more rural areas where there are fewer volunteers. So many hands make light work. You can help us by getting the word out. Yes, I saw a hand over there.
We just figured it out. We wanted to know the area.
Oh,
that we got.
so from the Rutland border to the Canadian border, we are all of Addison, Chittenden, Franklin, and Grand Isle County. That is who we serve. So it is a very large area that we serve. Yeah. All right. So let's see what you know about AgeWell, other than what Charlie and Leslie just told you. What do you know about AgeWell? What does AgeWell do? What services does AgeWell provide? What can you call them for? Yeah,
I got called by Charlie, your coworker,
yeah,
even though I'm not a volunteer
Yeah.
for that organization, to help move a bed, a hospital bed.
yes,
And he said, you better bring someone to help you. And I did. And it was really cool because I got to meet the person whose parent had passed.
yes,
And they were saying that moving the bed out of the house was providing closure.
yes,
And I didn't even think of it that way. I was like, oh, let's just get rid of this bed, move the bed.
yeah,
And they were so thrilled.
yeah.
So that was just one little tiny
One
part.
little tiny thing.
Yeah.
Great. So we have medical equipment on loan. So most people don't know this, right? And think about it. You're taking care of your parent, they need a walker, they then die, you still have the walker. What are you gonna do with the walker? So you can donate it to AgeWell so that all of our clients that we serve who live below the poverty level, who don't have the financial means to purchase a walker, right? When my mother needed a walker, I went to Costco and I bought her a walker. No big deal for me. That's not the case for many people. So we loan medical equipment. What else do you know about AgeWell? Yeah,
I know that you guys help families get grants, for home modifications because I've been the OT on the end that's done the home mods, from families that have gotten grants from you guys.
yes,
So you help them.
yes. So we do minor home repairs and we have two programs that we do that with. So the volunteer program has minor home repair volunteers. That's one way that people can volunteer. They can say, I want to do anything except minor home repairs. When you've got minor home repairs needed, give me a call. If I can fit it into my schedule, I will. So minor home repairs is one of the things we do. We also have a program called Capable, and that is the grant funded minor home repair program where there's an OT involved, there's a nurse involved, and there is a volunteer minor home repair person involved. And the client is assessed, their home is assessed by the nurse for their medical needs, by the OT for what would be helpful to making this home more functional and safer for this client. And then the minor home repair person or team of people, depending on what's needed, that come in and make the modifications. Great. What else do you know?
I know you have community meals.
We have community meals. Community meals, we do them, we try to have community meals 5 days a week in different communities. And it's an opportunity for anyone 60 or older. You don't have to be living alone. But oftentimes the people that come to the community meals come because they are living alone. And they don't like cooking for themselves. It's hard to cook for one when you've been cooking for a family. You know, you're used to cooking for a family. Now you're just cooking for one person. It's also an opportunity for socialization and to chat with other people who are in your similar age group and in the community that you live in. And we often have entertainment. So yesterday, the community meal was a barbecue in Colchester at Bayside Park or Airport Park, one of those two. And I believe Corey Godfrey provided the music and entertainment for that. So it's an opportunity to sing and dance. There's door prizes, there's raffles. It's a way for people who want to be able to socialize with other folks over a meal to do that. Let me just say that all of our services at AgeWell are free. We don't charge for any of the services that we provide. We do have 2 programs where we have a suggested donation. The first program where we have a suggested donation is that we have 24 volunteers that are certified Tai Chi instructors who teach free Tai Chi classes out in the communities that they live in. And there's a suggested donation of $5 if you participate in the Tai Chi program. Now, no one is at the door checking you in, collecting money. That's not how it works. There is a box or a jar in the classroom. The Tai Chi instructors say, hey, just so you guys know, this class is free to you because it's sponsored by AgeWell. And AgeWell would love if you are willing to make a donation. The suggested donation is $5. People put money in the box. Sometimes they do it every week. Sometimes they only do it at the end of the class. It's not a fee. It's just hey, if you can help support the Tai Chi program, that money goes directly into the Tai Chi line item where we use it to pay for the recertification of those Tai Chi instructors. They have to be recertified every 2 years. So that's what that money goes for. The other program where we have a suggested donation is in all of our meal programs. So whether it's Meals on Wheels or a community meal or our restaurant ticket program, there's a suggested donation of $5. The average donation that we receive from our Meals on Wheels clients is $1.82 a meal. The meals cost us $10.28. So we lose money on every meal that we deliver. We understand that because the majority of the folks who are getting Meals on Wheels are living below the poverty line and struggle to have enough money to pay for food and other things, obviously, that they need. But to qualify for Meals on Wheels, you need to be homebound and or unable to prepare meals for yourself. So why might somebody be unable to prepare a meal for themselves?
Physical difficulties.
They may have a physical incapacity where they can't stand for whatever it is. They could have a physical. They could also have cognitive decline. No longer safe for them to use the stove. They have dementia. Their adult children have disconnected their stove. They only can cook using a microwave, whatever the case might be. Yeah, those are some of the reasons. So those are the only programs where we have a suggested donation. Everything else is free. So what else do we do? What else do you know?
Just, I have a question. I was at a restaurant the other day that had a sign about I guess it's the.
Restaurant
ticket,
ticket program.
How many restaurants participate in that? And this one, it said it was only good until the end of May. Is there like a gap in the summer there?
Which restaurant were you?
Ray Seafood.
You are at Ray Seafood. So Ray Seafood takes the summer off every year. They take the summer off from the restaurant ticket program because it's their busiest time of year.
Okay.
There are 12 restaurants that participate in the program. And there is a selected menu to choose from if you're part of the restaurant ticket program, and that menu is determined by the restaurant with our Director of Nutrition and Wellness. She is a licensed dietitian, and so we have to make sure that it meets the minimum daily requirements set by the federal government for nutrition standards. But we have 12 that participate. What else do you know about what we do? Yeah.
I think he might still be working with you guys, but I had a student who started a pet care program to help older folks take care of their pets. And I think you guys got involved. I don't know if you still are.
Yeah, we are not still involved, unfortunately, and it's a really big need. We do not have funding to support that program, and we cannot add it on to the volunteer program on top of everything else that we are already doing. But we hope in the future to be able to bring it in. Yeah. What else do you know?
Transportation.
Transportation. We actually don't provide transportation, but here's what we do. We provide assistance taking people to medical appointments. So we have lots of older folks that are alone. They do not have them. My mother is a great example. My mother is 89. She'll be 90 in August. She lives in Charlotte. She is the last of her circle of friends that is still alive. We have lots of folks like that who do not have friends and family to go with them to an appointment. So if all you need is to get to the appointment, in Chittenden County, we contract with SSTA to take you to your appointment. But raise your hand if you've ever been to UVM Medical Center. So imagine that you are, let's be my mother, you're 90 years old. If you took SSTA, they would drop you off at the front door. You would be hopeful that there is a hospital volunteer inside that door that might greet you and say, can I help you? Where do you need to go? And would actually walk with you, or if you can't walk and you need to be in one of those transport chairs, they put you in the chair and they take you to whatever office, whatever waiting room you're supposed to be in. And they say, I hope everything works out for you, Faith. It was very nice meeting you. And they go away. Now, my mother would be sitting in that waiting room. She wears hearing aids, and that does not mean she hears well. Because she doesn't understand the technology well enough to really be able to adjust things in different environments. And when you're sitting in a waiting room, there's a lot of background noise. And they come out and they call your first name. So oftentimes people don't hear their names called. But let's say best case scenario, I hear my name called. She hears her name called. She goes in and she meets with the doctor. Now she's getting results of recent tests, and she's trying her best to listen to what they're saying, to process what they're saying, to ask the right questions, to understand what is this going to mean for me. That is very, very hard, because oftentimes it's an emotionally charged situation because you might not be getting good news. We never want someone to have to go to a doctor's appointment by themselves. Now, she gets all this and they take her out, not into the same waiting room that she entered through, but through the where you have to check out and make your next appointment, which then opens into a hallway. Now, there's no volunteer to help her find her way back out of the hospital in order to meet the SSTA van at the time they're supposed to pick her up. We don't like that scenario. So we have volunteers that do nothing but take people to medical appointments where they're going to be accompanying that person. I'm sitting in with Leslie when the doctor is talking to her. I'm helping her ask questions. I'm taking notes for her if she wants. I'm helping her call her daughter in California when we get home to update her on what the doctor said. You could be having a procedure. We're putting eye drops in your eyes are gonna be dilated, you can't drive home. You're having a colonoscopy, we're using sedation. So under any of those circumstances, we have volunteers who take people to medical appointments. What else do we do? What else do you know? All right, yes, I see a hand over there.
I don't know if you technically do it, but, the Meals on Wheels program, isn't there a safety factor for that too?
Lovely. I'm so glad you brought that up, right? The most important part of the Meals on Wheels delivery is actually not the meal.
Right.
And Charlie knows this, and Leslie knows this. The most important part of the Meals on Wheels delivery is that you are physically laying eyes on the person that you are delivering to. And if you find them in any kind of distress, you're calling us so that we can intervene. I cannot tell you the number of times where a Meals on Wheels volunteer has actually saved a client's life, and it's not an exaggeration, because they've shown up and found that person has fallen and is on the floor and can't get to a phone and can't call 911, or that person is having a stroke. And I know this because they're not themselves and their speech is slurred and their faces do something's going on, right? Or I show up and they're all black and blue. And I ask, what happened to you, Sally? And I find out that you fell, and I say, well, Sally, did you go to immediate care or to the emergency room? Did anybody take a look at you? No, I didn't. I can't afford the ambulance. I didn't want to bother anybody, right? All of that. Or the Meals on Wheels volunteer finds out, you know, when I went to put the food in Chris's refrigerator today, there were 12 other meals in there. I don't think he's eating the food. And come to find out, he's not eating the food because he has dementia, and his dementia has progressed and he can't remember how to heat the food up. So it's very important. The safety check is the most important part of the Meals on Wheels delivery. It's also the most important part of every visit, no matter why you're there. So if Leslie is there for respite, Leslie's going to be the one that discovers if something is wrong and call 911 and let us know. If someone is going for a friendly visits we match based on common interests. So I love this. I had a volunteer, and she's a retired elementary school teacher. And I had a client who was 83 who lived in Winooski, who was also a retired elementary school teacher. And I matched them together. And for 2 years, they went off on adventures every week. They both loved museums. They both loved movies. They'd go to the Fleming Museum. They'd go to art shows. They'd go to the movies together. The thing about our friendly visitor program, because we match you based on common interests, is that once we know the match is good, like you say, yes, this is great. I love her. We got along great. And we also call the client after your first visit to make sure they feel the same way. Then it's completely up to the two of you to cook up how you spend your time and what you do. So that's really fun, and it's very flexible. What else do we do?
There's a question on, or a hand raised online.
Oh,
Yes, I'd like to know if you have any association with home share.
we do not. However, we do absolutely recommend home share to clients who are no longer able to live alone, who still want to stay in their home. So we have a partnership in that way. Great question. What else do we do?
Home repairs.
Home repairs. We do minor home repairs. Well, let me tell you some of the other stuff. What about Medicare and Social Security? You know about our SHIP program? Well, SHIP stands for State Health Insurance Program, and we are the folks that you call. I'm turning 65. I have to sign up, because if I don't sign up for my program now, I'm going to be penalized for the rest of my life. There's a window, 3 months before you turn 65, or 3 months after you turn 65, so 6-month window. If you do not sign up for Medicare, during that 6-month window, you will forever be penalized and have to pay more for Medicare than you would if you had signed up during that time. Now, it is very confusing to figure out which plan should I choose. There are many plans to choose from, and there's a ton of money that's put into advertising by for-profit plans trying to sway you to sign up for their plan because that's how they make their profit. We, on the other hand, know all the ins and outs of all the programs, and we talk to you about, well, what is your current health situation? And what medicine are you on, if any? And what is sort of the history? What are your concerns about what your needs might be in the future in order to find the best plan for you? We also explain to you that you get to redecide every single year. Every single year between October 15th and December 7th, that is open enrollment, folks. Every single year you get to redecide whether you want to keep the plan you have or whether you want to choose a new plan. And if your medical situation has changed and the medicine you take has changed, you definitely want to sort out what's going to be the best plan for me now, because my situation is different than it was last year. That's all free. And last year, for all the folks that called in to SHIP for help figuring it out, we saved them $108,000 collectively, helping them choose the right plan. So that is our SHIP program. They also will help if you're having trouble with billing, like Medicare billing. They don't have it right. It's messed up. You've called, you've tried to straighten it out. You call us. We have a direct line and we get it straightened out. So that's something that we also do. All right. Can we talk about what our social workers do and what we do through case management? So our job.
Sorry.
4 minutes?
3.
3 minutes.
3
3 minutes.
minutes. Okay, sorry.
Our social workers are the one that coordinate when you need different, a combination of care. So the simple thing, options counselors can go in and help you sign up for 3 squares and fuel assistance and whatever it is that you might qualify for, right? These are programs that are not run by us, but if you qualify for them, we want to make sure that you're getting the benefit of participating in them. But when care needs to be coordinated, maybe you're getting your home care through the VNA or through Beata or one of the other organizations, and they're doing one piece of your care, but they're not doing all of your care. And you also need PT and you need an OT and we help to coordinate all of that care. We help to coordinate when you're coming out of the hospital and you need supports when you come home. We help coordinate that as well. And so we also have specialized case managers that deal with the more complicated situations. Oftentimes that is because there's a serious medical or mental illness that is a part of the picture that needs to be accounted for. And we have our respite program. So we have caregiver support specialists that work with the caretaker of the person being cared for. And the volunteers then go in and help support. So we do that as well. There's one way to get into AgeWell no matter what you need, and that is our senior helpline. And that is the only number you need to know. Whatever you need from us, you can just call one number and we'll figure out who the right person is for you to talk to. So that is our helpline number. And with my last minute, I cannot tell you how much I would appreciate if you would take the flyer on your table and put it somewhere where community members will see it. Whether you're part of a church organization or a Rotary or a Lions Club and please know that we're available to speak. Like next Monday, I'm going to the Essex Senior Center by invitation. 2 months ago, I was at the Bristol Bees presenting in Bristol. If you are part of any organization or group, or you live in a senior housing community and can invite me in to speak so that more people know about all of the free resources that are available to them, that is really important to us. Because when I ask people, what do you know about AgeWell? Everybody knows about Meals on Wheels because it's such a big program, but oftentimes don't know about all the other free services that we provide. Thank you for your time. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. And so if anybody does want to volunteer, I can certainly attest to the support that we get. The matches are awesome. The support throughout is wonderful. It's a lot of fun as well. So in appreciation for you being here today, we will make a donation to the Williston Central School Mentoring Program
Oh,
in your
excellent.
name.
I love
So
it.
this is a little thank you note that has been developed.
That's
So
awesome.
thank you for that. And then we also need you to choose the winning number.
Oh,
Who wants to choose theirs?
They all,
Yes,
they always
they do.
do.
Choose a
Just the
ticket.
last three.
Last three.
Okay. Last three, 918.
So close.
Thank you so much, Erica. I learned a lot. And I like how you structured your talk too, like asking us what we know. That was, I like the interaction. Thank you. All right, Chris,
Yeah,
inspiration time.
all right.
She may be the one who got it.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Right.
Tough act to follow. Little fact here, if things had worked out, Erica would have been my stepsister.
Yeah.
So you know I'm serious, I got my glasses out. Elizabeth asked me to be the inspirational person. I know I'm usually jokey jokester, but I found something inspirational. I wrote it down this morning at 5, so I need my glasses to read it. And it's a story where you have to sort of suspend belief, but this is a story about a pencil maker. The pencil maker tells the pencil, everything that happens to the pencil is part of the sharpening process. This is the first of the 5 lessons. The second lesson, the pencil can always correct its mistakes. The third lesson is what's inside that's most important. And the fourth lesson, the pencil will only be useful if it allows itself to be held and guided by the hand that holds it. The fifth lesson, eventually, the pencil will be left behind, but the marks it leaves will make a difference. That's my inspiration. Wish I made that up, but I didn't.
Thank you. I have never heard that one before. Very thought provoking.